Okay, we're going to look at solving a trig equation, grade 12 one, because we've got to use trig identities from grade 12 to be able to do it. And a little tangent trick that you got to keep in mind just near the end. Anyways, we start off, we're taking a look at this thing. You know, sine of 2x, you don't have too many options for replacing sine of 2x. You're kind of locked into 2 sine x cos x. That's the identity. The sine of a double angle is 2 times the sine of the angle times the cosine of the angle. But the cosine of 2x, we've got 3 options. But we see this plus 1 here, and that's what makes this option so good. 2 cosine squared x minus 1 is equal to cosine 2x on your formula sheet. That identity is given. Well, if that's true, this minus 1 and that plus 1 right there can cancel. And you're just left with 2 cos squared x plus 2 sine x cos x. Well, you can divide everything by 2. 2 there, the 2 cancels here, and 0 divided by 2 is 2. Now, so much of this stuff is just factoring. So if we factor out cos x times cos x gives me cos squared x, and cos x times sine x gives me sine x cos x. Now you might be thinking, okay, now the deal is if cos x equals 0, this whole thing will be true. So that's part of your solution. That's part of your solution is to go with cos x equals 0. But this is 2 cos x and sine x. What are we going to do? That seems kind of weird. Well, Mr. Autry, he's done it out like this, but I did it and I showed one more step down here. What we do is we actually subtract cos x. We let this equal 0, but we subtract cos x from both sides, and you get sine x equals minus cos x. Now here comes the big trick. If I divide both sides by cos x, sine x divided by cos x is what happens on this side, and cos x divided by cos x gives me 1 minus 1. Oh, but sine x over cos x is one of those fundamental trig identities, and it equals tan x. Now we've got a single function, tan x equals minus 1. If you press shift 10 on your calculator, it'll tell you that negative 45 degrees is an answer that makes it true. And the general solution is it repeats itself every 180 degrees. So it's negative 45 degrees plus k times 180 degrees. Where k is an element of the integers. Okay, that's how that part works. The cosine of x of 0, if we press shift cosine of 0, I think, it's going to tell us 0. So that's one of the answers. But it's also going to be the same answer over there at 180. In fact, every 180 degrees, it's going to keep repeating and give yourself 0. Now, you could go... anyways, that's the solution. There's other ways of expressing this with 360, but you could go plus or minus 180 plus k times 360. But this is the simple way of expressing all the places where the cosine of an angle will equal 0. So there's your general solution. And this was the tangent trick here, right in this second part that you got to look out for. Okay, hope this helps.